I thought obviously first half defensively we gave up too much in the paint. Second half we were able to get that under control. Obviously our ability to share the ball offensively and really keep the pace and stay in sync offensively was important. Obviously we know we've got guys that can score, but defensively I thought we much better in the second half at stopping, well, just quite frankly not getting beat off the dribble and having gap help and rim protection. So now we obviously move on to Friday. We know we need this type of test that's coming, not only Friday, but next week too in San Diego. So I think we've gotten to a point where we need to see what's coming. And we know the challenge it's going to be. I think this group is ready for it. They're hungry for it. And I'm proud of how they've handled these games. I think we've gotten better as time has gone on in different areas. I thought Boyd was really good tonight in dispersing the ball. Obviously Garlock's 4 assists, no turnovers. And we just kept at it offensively and eventually, were able to just completely blow the game open. Like I said, now we're on to bigger and better things. Questions?
We got Evan and then Nick.
Coach, you touched on it, but obviously they hit some really tough shots in the paint in the first half to keep it close. But what was the biggest difference in terms of you guys just keeping the ball out of the paint and not even allowing those attempts?
Yeah, we were better on the ball, just keeping the ball in front of us. I thought our gap presence was better. We were a little better in shocking ball screens. I thought the first half we either didn't shock the ones I looked at halftime, or we weren't aggressive enough with it. And then there was a couple we just flat got beat off the dribble. So they did hit some of the some of those mid-range 8-10 footers, but to go from 22 points in the paint to 6 points in the paint for them from half to half, I thought was a mark that we're obviously not allowing the ball to get there. Teams are going to hit the tougher twos, but it was the ones where we had breakdowns and they got right to the rim that we got better at in the second half.
Nick, go ahead, please.
Greg, your starting backcourt had 54 points, 8 assists, just 1 turnover. John complimented you and the staff on just how well this lineup was put together. Is it a little bit of what you envisioned? I know just one game tonight, but just how tough can that group really be when they're playing so unselfishly?
Yeah, I think, well, we think it's 8 assists, no turnovers, because Blackwell's turnover, he didn't have possession when they had the goofy thing. The kid launched it from half court thinking there was a shot clock. So we have to go back through and get official ruling on that. I don't know who's in charge of stats in here, but Denny, is that you? Not you?
They reset the shot clock.
Okay, and shouldn't have done that because there was no possession, right?
We had to give a turnover because they reset.
Right. They shouldn't have reset it, so it shouldn't have been a turnover.
Yep.
All right. So what were you asking about? Oh, that backcourt. No, I think it is. It's a group that obviously you got 2 guys that were here last year that have a feel for it. But then I think every game, as I've said, the experience helps us. Whether it's a Nick Boyd or whether it's a Will Garlock or a Hayden Jones as true freshmen. I think anytime you get on the court and get some reps and get experience and get game action, and I think Boyd's getting better. The dispersing of the ball was really important for him to take that step tonight and find people, and because it makes us so much better offensively when because we know he can attack, we know he can get to the rim, but when he gets the ball moving and dispersing it, we go to another level offensively. But yeah, the backcourt is, it's a good backcourt, and we got to keep getting better though. I think they can get even better.
Michael?
You thought coming into the season that the offense would be lifted by kind of the individual talent as you guys were to play together, but have you seen the same thing on the defensive end with the playmaking and some of the individual talent that you get there? Have you gotten a similar boost?
Yeah, I think we're, even though at times it doesn't look like it, we're better offensively or defensively because we're bigger. I think we're longer. Not only, I'm not talking about 7-footers and bringing 7 feet and 6'10" off the bench. I'm talking even at the wings. Rhodey's length, Blackwell's length, Carrington is long. for his size. So I think just that, Janicki's activity, even though he got some fouls tonight, I think just we can get in passing lanes when we need to. And the one thing about, the three transfers that are playing a lot in the backcourt, Boyd, Carrington, Rhodey, all have experience in good defensive systems and understand. They rarely get out of position. Rhodey's probably the best at it in terms of covering up and plugging gaps, and he's got really active hands, quick hands. He anticipates well, and then obviously Boyd's ability to put pressure on the ball, is good as well. So I think it collectively, Jones is a big guard at 6'6", so I think that length helps us too defensively. We're hard when we do things right and we don't have breakdowns. We're hard to score against because we've got size across the not only the back line but the guards too. We're harder to shoot over.
Let's go John and then move to.
Greg, you were mentioning, Nick's ability to disperse the ball, but I think it's 5 different players in the second half with an assist, 11 assists off 14 made field goals. Kind of when you guys are moving the ball this well, kind of even though the shots weren't always falling this half, kind of what does that enable this offense to do?
Yeah, I mean it gets us good looks, and eventually we got enough guys that can shoot it that one of them, somebody's going to bust loose, and that's what I meant about just the second half. Even though defensively the first half we weren't as good as we needed to be, we just kept in sync offensively, and then we got our footing defensively, and then you're able to, like I said, expand the lead. But yeah, I mean we have to have unselfish players, and it's a really good system, and we've got a lot of guys that can shoot it. I like the pace we're playing with, and obviously tonight 19 assists on 29 baskets. We're sharing it, and it makes us harder to guard, and it makes anybody in the country when you have a lot of assists. That means that ball's really moving, and we had to tonight because of how SIUE plays and packing the paint. And we knew they were going to gum it up, and we were going to have to really move it in order to get good looks, and we were able to do that.
Let's go right in front of you, please. Thank you.
Coach, I know you always talk about getting better, so I wanted to ask you a two-parter. One, what's impressed you the most about this group through 4 games? And 2, what is that next step to maybe being consistent for 45 minutes?
Yeah, I think the thing that's impressed me the most is even though they've come from different places and have spent different amounts of time here and other places, their coachability is really, really good. I mean, they listen, they want to get better, they have great suggestions, they ask the right questions, and I get asked about that ad nauseum about the portal and having new guys and the chemistry of the team. When you have like-minded individuals in the locker room, you'll have a united team, and that's what we have, and that's the coachability. They take coaching. Some guys, I get after them in the huddle, and they respond, and they want to be better. They want to do something special. Second part about get better, defensive consistency. I think that's the thing, and sometimes. First half, I thought even though we were shooting some good threes, I didn't think we put enough pressure on the rim. Whether that was transition running, Nolan got one in transition on a goaltend, but putting pressure on the rim is important, specifically against a team that builds a wall in transition. And then more rolls to the rim and pressure on the rim that way. And we got to the bonus. I didn't think we capitalized enough on it. With really attacking the paint as hard as we should have in that first half. So I'd say those are probably the 2 things, to really stay aggressive on that rim, and then the defensive consistency.
On the eight steals y'all had tonight, you turned it into points on 7 of those possessions, or I guess depending on how you want to look at it, on all 7 of those. Okay. Depending on the Blackwell of it all. But 18 points. I mean, is that a credit to just getting your hands on the ball and knowing that you need to push right away, or is it something else?
No, I think we have the ability based on how the individual. I mentioned the length of different guys, and the activity and the awareness, I think we have the ability to cause some turnovers, and create turnovers defensively. And then obviously we're pretty well wired to play aggressive in transition. So if we have that opportunity and we have an open floor, most likely we're gonna come pretty quickly at that, and it's a great time to attack, is when that offense now quickly has to convert to defense, and we can catch them in transition. We want to make sure we're putting, again, pressure on them in transition. So it's both. It's our ability to create some turnovers, and then when we do, let's go quickly capitalize on it.
Michael?
Alexis caught one of Nick's no-look fastballs. I guess, what's impressed you about his hands so far, just early in his career?
Alexis's hands? Well, I can count all the ones he's dropped, the rebounds and the things. A couple games ago, I told Schneider, my strength coach, to go get 2 buckets of rice. We were going to work on, and he goes, coach, he's got the strongest hands on the team. I said, okay, and then it's not the rice issue. I think the thing with Alexis is he's just gotten more and more comfortable, and he, his activity, he got us going a little bit in the first half with his activity on the offensive glass, kept the possession alive, scored on one. He had one of the miscues in the second half where he helped off the same side and gave up a 3, and when he came out, he goes, I can't impersonate his accent, but he said, don't help from the same side, right? And I go, yes. He goes, and I think he swore in Lithuanian, but I didn't understand it. He wasn't swearing at me. He was frustrated with himself. So I think for Alexis, it's just he's getting more and more comfortable. It's a big transition. You just think of all the things he's gone through since late August of coming here, not knowing anyone. He met me on a Zoom call. I met him for the first time in September when I got back from our daughter's wedding and walking down Dayton Street. He probably wondered, who the hell's this stranger walking at him as I parked my car and walked up the street. So it's like, just imagine that, and then you gotta go play basketball too, and so he's just more comfortable, and it's allowing his talent to shine.
Right in the middle there, Coach.
Obviously, BYU's roster's changed up quite a bit since you saw them in March. Just what are your early impressions from what you've been able to see of them? I don't know how much you've been able to see.
I don't think I've seen 3-4 possessions against Villanova when I was on that, because it was on before our game and I was sitting in the coach's locker room. Really talented. I'm stating the obvious there. So I'll start watching here tonight. I know assistants have been working ahead on, as they always do, on the scout, but I know Saunders is back. I thought he was terrific last year in our game. He was the difference maker. Some other guys are back, and obviously everybody talks about Devansta, and rightfully so. So a super talented team. Obviously they've been tested. They've gone through some games with Villanova, UConn, two that come to mind, but we'll have our hands full. But it's great for us. We need it. It's a great opportunity this time of year to play a game like that against an exceptionally talented team. Quasi road game, but that's why you do this. It's what these guys want, these type of games, and so do I. So we're looking forward to Friday.
We got Cam, and then we got Ben for the final questions.
Okay.
You mentioned some of the tough games coming up. What were you hoping to get out of these first 4 games, and do you feel like you, achieved what you were hoping for?
Yeah, get better, and that's not necessarily looking at final scores or stats. It's what our understanding is of things. We're getting better at diagnosing issues before I have to point them out on film or point them out in a huddle. I think we're self-correcting a little bit better. So I think we've got what we could get out of it. I got the chance to play a lot of guys. I wanted to develop a bench. I think we've got a pretty good idea but it's got to continue to grow. Specifically, Belauskas, Jones, and Garlock, I think, are 3 guys that, because they're young, can take. I don't know as much about their games in the type of games that are coming. Obviously, Braden's got experience in these type of games. Jack's got experience in these type of games, and again, that gets this level of competition that's coming, but those other 3-day guys don't yet. And so that'll be, go play. I mean, Hayden's got, I should say, Belauskas and Jones have played in a world level and Euro Cups and World Cups, so it'll be good, for we're all going to learn something from it, and we need to be pushed, we need to be tested, and we will, no doubt, on Friday.